a lot of questions I get asked, and one of them specifically is always about, hey, how do you target the right training zone? The right training zone can be targeted with numerous values. I use a couple of them. If you follow my blog, you know that. I use heart rate, I use lactate, I use perceived load, which is actually quite accurate. I use watts and boat speed. One way to target the right zone, which is available to most of you, is the heart rate. A lot of people ask me, how do you actually know, and how should you reach the right heart rate zone? So there are common mistakes. First of all, mistakes number one is look at your heart rate every 60 seconds to every second minute. You're gonna go crazy. Heart rate is a very volatile factor, especially in the low training zones. So if you're reg U, M, even O, this can be quite volatile if you don't train on a lot of load. If you train in such low zones and constantly keep on checking your heart rate, you always become nervous. Is my heart rate going to go up? And just by thinking of it, your heart rate can change. Heart rate is influenced by so many factors that it's not very reliable. So my personal advice to all of my athletes is check your heart rate every 5 to 10 minutes. And the way you do it, you set a certain speed. Either check your watts, check your boat speed. If you have nothing of that available, check your stroke rate. Even if you don't have anything to count your stroke rate, set a certain speed based on perceived load. So it's going to feel like UT2. It's going to feel like a reg UOM. Once you set that speed, what you do is that after 5 minutes, you check your heart rate for the first time. If it's too high, all right, reduce the speed and keep that level. Don't even think about checking your heart rate for the next 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, check it again. Is the heart rate okay now or not? With doing so, you have the benefit that you actually remain consistent within the zones you should be. Because just because you think of something, oh, yeah, next week I got this regatta coming up, boom, 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 heart rate goes up because you're nervous. Then you have to reduce your load. And this also disturbs your training effect. So check your heart rate every 5 to 10 minutes. Second mistake. Most people try to get into the heart rate zone within 60 to 120 seconds, maybe 180 seconds. That's too quick. Take about 4 to 5 minutes to get into the right zone. If your interval is not that long, then you have to work with perceived load, and heart rate will not be a helpful factor to target the right zone. So after 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, depending on the level and your experience as an athlete and how well trained you are, you should be in the right zone. And this is when you should check your heart rate for the first time. The third mistake I see a lot is that people take the average heart rate. So when I tell them, okay, be at a heart rate of 160, and you have a 10-minute interval, that you actually start the recording minute 0, and you finish at minute 10 and say, oh, there was an average of 150, I should be higher. No, you shouldn't. Because the average also counts the minutes to 2, 3, 4 minutes you had to take to get into the right training zone. But it doesn't mean that you were not at the right intensity level. You have to differ between training zone and intensity level. Let me give an example. You start out with 200 watts on a bio rower. So for the first 3 minutes, your heart rate will be quite low. And for the last 6 to 7 minutes, your heart rate will actually be in the right zone. So if you only went by heart rate, you would actually start off with 250 watts and then go down to 200, which means that you would have 2 intensities within one training interval. And this is not what we want. We want to train the body to go at a certain speed. And naturally, the body will be able to work more economically for the first 3 to 4 minutes, because then your body will use different energy supplies and energy supply cycles to be able to go and cope with this load. So it's like setting 200 watts. You can do it with watts, you can do it with boat speed, you can do it with perceived load, with stroke rate, anything that will help to set a certain speed. It's like an airplane, you set a certain airspeed, or it's like in a car, you set cruise control to 50 kilometers an hour, 35 miles an hour, whatever the equivalent is. Now I want to finish off this video with an announcement. A lot of people ask me, hey, when's your next crew camp? When can I join it? Here it is. August 19 to 22nd, 2019 in Völkermarkt in southern Austria, Carinthia, right southern edge of the Austrian Alps. A beautiful stretch of water, 17 kilometers we can row almost exclusively available to us rowers. Any wind direction we can always bypass. There is always a place where we can row where there is not a lot of wind. So this is beautiful. I wanted to do it the week before, but already a lot of national teams are there. I think the Canadians are there. Denmark is there. Austria is there. So again, August 19 to 22nd, 2019, we will do a video analysis on a daily basis. The question I get asked a lot about my training camps, who is it for? Can I join? Pretty much, I don't care if you're junior, under 23, senior A, master's athlete. Important is that you are a competitive athlete. You should have raced before. And this entire training camp is about technique and how to become faster. Be it in a single, in a pair, in a team boat. So my vision is always to help people create higher boat speeds with the same amount of effort. And I want to teach this in the shortest amount of time possible. So my main focus is always technique and efficiency in steady state, but also in race pace. So for a lot of masters, this is going to be the preparation for the World Masters in Valencia, Hungary. Okay, guys, any further questions, please put them in the comment section below. If you have questions about the training camp, it's info@aramtraining.com, where you can book on aramtraining.com. Guys, very much looking forward to see you soon. Have a good day. Bye-bye.